Alright, fam. Today, let's talk about it. Gaming. You seen it around? We all frustrated about it lately. It's like the thing we evolved to love and built us logically, reasonably, wherever you want to go, creatively, all the above. It's like it's losing its DNA. And with that comes its charm. Because if you lose your DNA, you have no foundation. And next thing you know, you're all over the place. Anybody can do it. Anybody can hop on the boat. But those people don't know what they're here for. And that's all right. So today, I honestly just want to talk about games, the various things that we do and do not like about them. First of all, let's start with this. Games are great. We all know it. That's why we're here as a community, either on this channel or whatever, other various gaming channels or whatever, because we enjoy them, what they offered, which was something unique, a form of entertainment that where if you were a great writer or had a dream of being a movie director, whatever that said talent was, you could portray that in whatever way manageable or desirable in your gaming content, whether it's indie or which are cooking nowadays, but AAA development studio. Games were not only a way for you to express that, whatever way, but for the consumers to escape, enjoy, and be inspired to either they want to design, test games, just spend, because it's a good pastime with friends and family, whatever the case may be. For these things, games are great, and especially to those who are, let's say, a couple decades old, simply a casual pastime with whoever that may be. Or maybe it's just an overall escape. Maybe it's a project for you. Maybe it's a journey, some kind of adventure. Maybe you're sharing a skill or an interest that you had to someone else close to you. Or maybe that's how you even bond. Plenty of people that make friends over the internet just from playing video games, long lasting, lifelong friendships. And that's something cool to see that video games can bring to you. And everybody has their community. Movies have some pretty cool similarities, but from my personal experience, or not even just that, gaming is a little bit more interactive. We know what video games are. No point in going around describing what video games are all day, because that's probably why you're here. And if you're not familiar with what they are, grab a snack and take a seat. What I want to get into today is why we love video games and why it's important to not stray away from the DNA of what they truly are. Because as I said, if you are not founded on something, then your gate is open for people that have nothing to do with it or lack understanding to come in and make it what they want. If you don't care. And since I'm talking about becoming a dinosaur, I want to start off with graphical changes. And I have my experiences with 64 Sega Gen from a digital arcade conduit. I wasn't actually around for the time for the physical console, but I was there for PlayStation 1. And I was there for Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Tomb Raider, you go on. And man, there was never a time in gaming we were disappointed with the technological advances, let's say, until today, but that's a different argument. These games today are very hard to look at, but still, they hold a special place in your heart, not just because of nostalgia, but just because of the fact that the entire writing, the plot design, the action, it was all designed differently. Like, sure, Resident Evil back then, 64, difficult to look at, but the difficulty to understand what you were looking at also played into the horror elements. It was freaky because only you could tell it was supposed to be a zombie dog or, whatever, behemoth after you. It also looked a little distorted. Kind of that thing that humans have, why they say, I can't think of the term right now, I'm not gonna go look it up, but the fear of clowns. Because it's so close to looking human, but it's so off, the brain kind of subconsciously starts to tweak itself out automatically. And that's pretty much what these older graphics did for horror games. So one, but mainly I want to say was the controls and the camera angles. The camera angles, totally different thing. Every time you enter a new room, a new camera angle, you don't know what to expect, especially if it's your first time exploring a certain area. You walk into an unexpected, disadvantageous camera angle, for one. And two, the corridors are difficult enough as it is to navigate. So now you got this awkward camera angle where you can't even see your character. All you see is the monsters. You couldn't walk in a straight line if the camera were behind you in that game. Now you gotta quickly interact, react, analyze what's going on, find your character, and get them to move in the direction that will save your life. You're not the fastest in these games either. And we're talking about Resident Evil. We know resources are scarce. So aiming, all of that, it's its own topic. And so this worked out really well for the times, and no one was complaining. At least I wasn't. And then obviously we know graphics slowly improved as our technology advanced and finances and so on and so forth, which can't be an excuse for today because honestly, I feel graphically we peaked around currently 2018 or something of the sort. And then we drop console remasters, pros, few extra frames and things like that here and there instead of and oh my bad, remaster on top of reboot instead of actually trying to graphically improve. And honestly, graphics have never been my complaint, is my point here. But what we do know for a fact is game writing, not being afraid to take your writing to the edge. How about just cool characters anymore? That seems to be a popular topic right now. You can see somewhere after literally 2018, it's like, actually, let me take a step back here. As a side note, Fortnite.
Yeet! Ah, fuck.
Damn.
Careful to eat people. Oh, yeah. Yeah!
Well, he didn't fall very far. Smack.
Yeah!
Fortnite taking the title and cooking everybody on the battle royale scheme or whatever your battle royale team shooter whatever game is. Everybody and their mom wanted to hop on the trend, and that is also a part of why gaming died, because everybody went for the live service, microtransactions, cash grabs, and people just stopped thinking. It's like we got AI nowadays. Like I said, technological advancements, blessings. However, our people are thinking less. They're becoming less creative. And so therefore, you see projects losing their DNA because everybody named mama wants to be the same person. The video making sense? I'm hoping I'm tying this together right. So obviously, we didn't know the potential that we were headed to at the times. We were content with the graphics and the game styles that we had. And I repeat, no, this is not nostalgia after we know the roller coaster of being excited for releasing titles, going up and down, just to find out it's just been the same slop lately. These developers did not have the technological advancements nor any idea where we would be today in the gaming industry. They did have a vision and they applied it, and they had a fan base and they respected it, and it grew. Therefore, you have a community. Now, I do believe writers are still trying to put their own touch on games nowadays. I wish if the current sociology of things wasn't so implied. Like, obviously, memes, trends, pop culture, that stuff is relevant for games, I like to think, yes. But that neighbor that you're mad at, that thing you don't like that that person fucking called you, like, if you can make an edgy joke about it and be slick and move on, cool. But making a game primarily some kind of, not that games have not had subliminal message in it since the beginning of time. There is politics, propaganda in games like BioShock, things like that, that kind of give you this eerie feeling and immerse you in the world, and it's pretty cool. You know, there's fourth wall breakers, all the above. What I'm saying is, let's not make excuses for the recent lack in, and I'm not a game developer by any means, but creativity in games, and the excuse to push your politics or your mental health or whatever the fuck it was, because that person that was probably having a glum day hopped on fucking Duke Nukem, took a fucking piss, blasted some alien fucking brains like a macho man, and forgot about it by the end of the day. Unless you put a bunch of soy sauce in a game and then you remind him that he's sad and that he can never not be sad and that he's just like the hero because the hero is too sad to solve his own problems. When in reality, there's plenty. What makes a hero what makes a hero human is that they do have trials. They do have emotions that they deal with. Sometimes they are sad. Sometimes they're frustrated and faced with tough decisions, but that's what sets them apart as the hero, because they're willing to deal with that adversity and overcome it while carrying everybody else on their back along the way. And when someone's playing a game, that's what they want to feel. These games entertain, inspire, cause people to relate. I don't want to go on about this too long, but just because your game is shiny on the outside isn't everything. I take some subpar graphics and solid writing over a shiny fucking pearl that's hollow on the inside, honestly. Plus, graphics haven't even been evolving that much over the last 6 years. They've been pretty much the same thing through a remaster or reboot in a couple frames and call it a fucking day. Charge you again for an overpriced console that's gonna, I don't know, speed your fucking frames up by 30, 15. I'm not saying all good games are bad either. There's plenty of, fairly modern games that were absolutely solid. I'm gonna make a comparison of two that we all know right quick. There's Red Dead Redemption 1. For its time, I think that game outlived its time a little bit. That game was one of a kind for sure, Wasn't like a immersive sim, like it wasn't like Red Dead 2 or anything by far. It was solid story writing, solid character. Spoiler, the hero does not get the victory, but he's still the man at the end of the day. Everything he's been through, and his character development, and everything that he's had to sacrifice. He went out knowing that he knew he was a bad man. He knew what he had coming, but he stuck to it to the end, through the end, whatever. And then you have Red 2. I'm not a big fan of prequels. These are risky, I feel, but the prequel was so tied in to the events of the first game. It was absolutely amazing. And I'm not going to get into the story because we know how that goes, but just the small details. It wasn't too much of a life simulator it wasn't in a tedious way. It was more an immersive way. A lot of it was by choice. Some of it had to do with how your character developed and what state they were in, which is pretty cool. But this game that was fairly modern, had amazing graphics, but also had writing, relevance, and gameplay mechanics. They improved I thought animal hunting was dope in Red Dead 1. The second one, they gave you more means as to why you're hunting. They added more animations to removing the pelts off animals. That was pretty cool. The way you ride horses, you could be wise, go up, console the horse, try to bond with the horse, see if it's rocking with you. You just go slap it straight in the ass if you want to and get your fucking head knocked off. Hat fly off and everything. It's hilarious. Horse runs off like what? You know what I mean? Fucking around with your friends, hog tying your homies, fishing. I guess that's something we've seen in games before, but bathing, you get perks from things like that. Needing to stay in hotels. Getting muddy on that game. The weather, the atmosphere, the physics were amazing. Nothing to say. This isn't no GTA 5. Spam that one button and the NPC just fucking flops and dies immediately. No. First of all, it's hard to have good karma in that game. You walking down the road, mind your damn business, and somebody just trying to bug up with you for no reason, and you got to tussle on that game. It's not the most advanced combat mechanism ever, obviously. You gotta time your shots. You gotta time your blocks. Different NPCs have different levels of aggression and a way they attack the battle. Get on the floor, you gotta tussle in some mud, man. And then the best part, once you defeated said foe, you can pick his head up. Once you defeated said hoe. Once you defeated said foe, you pick his head up right off the ground, knock yours off, sit it on your head, keep it pushing, and walk up to the sunset like you right. Which you were, because this was cool. It's the little freedoms and things like that. It's not weird, unnecessary shit like petting a cat in Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think that's a popular one right now. But it was small mechanics that were relevant to the story, character, just immersing in the world. Like actually immersing in the world. Because you know what's immersive? Sure, if you want to paint an animal, that's a unique feature. If we wanted the option to do that, we can. But you know what else is cool? Being able to break its neck if you desired, or own it in a cage. That's freedom. That's immersion. And that's what I'm saying. It's not all modern games. It's just how you go about it. I'm saying the trend is most certainly going a certain direction. You wouldn't hear so many people complaining about it, honestly, if it wasn't the case. I think what's crazy to me is just that how much time has passed just in general. Like, it's going, ain't it? Ain't we getting up there? But just the fact that we've evolved so quickly in early stages of game development, and it feels like lately we've just been kind of lagging and dragging. It doesn't have to be a crazy technological advancement out of fucking nowhere. It's important for us to remember why we're here. And honestly, as consumers, as gamers, speak, communicate that, because you do have the power, and they're gonna shove down your throat whatever you continue to allow them to. And they know it, and they don't care. Why? Because as I said in the beginning, these aren't always the same people that were introduced into the culture the way we were and those before us. These are people that aren't familiar with this sandbox molding your sand. And when you don't like it, they say you're wrong for it. But that's because they don't understand the culture of it. I'm saying back then we didn't just evolve narratively, mechanically. We did evolve graphically very quickly, but it was consistent. It's okay to extend and try something different, but you have to keep your DNA. A car can't become a plane because then it's no longer a car. It's not that these people can't still evolve. They're either choosing not to, or they just have the wrong image as to what they're working from, what their foundation is, or what they're working for, or who they're producing for. I remember going to the game shop, having to get my discs buffed out, hoping, praying on a whim that when you got home, when you put that mug in, it's gonna work. And I mean, insert disc, press play. Y'all remember that?